Greetings and salutations, guys. Welcome to another podcast. First of all, I want to thank you guys so much for the support on the last podcast. I got 60 or 50 something listens in one night, and that means a lot. I'm getting some ratings. I'm really starting to get traction all over the podcast community, which is making me happy. Also, shout out to Bob. He is my one and only patron on patreon.com. Not you, this is Bobby. Talking about Bob. Look at you, you were so happy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, unless you want to be a patron, but that would be kind of...
yeah, I'll at least be number 2.
Right? I mean, but that's like money circling back in. Anyway, so shout out to Bob, not Bobby, for being my one and only patron on Patreon. If you'd like to be a patron, links will always be in the description. Tiers start from anywhere from $1 all the way to $15, and it increases by increments of 5. And with each tier, you get cool prizes. So if you want to pledge, that would be awesome. Follow me on all forms of social media. And yes, today I have Bobby. Bobby was a friend, still is, but now he's also my social media manager, and he's done some good work, and it's only been a little over a week. So, Bobby, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Here is how I start every podcast. I ask, when were you born? Where were you born? And what time?
Alrighty, so
If you know.
Oh, I know. Trust me. I'm a lot of my friends are into kind of star charts and whatnot, so I've had to look it up and confirm with my mom a few times.
Oh, Jesus.
The time of day, not the date.
You're
of
that
course.
kind of person?
I am that kind of person.
Oh,
yeah, always
God.
better safe than sorry. You never know what you might find out. But I was born on February 24th, 1996 at 10:28 p.m. Saturday night. So, sorry mom interrupted, whatever plans you may have had. And this was in downtown San Francisco, California.
You have probably given one of the most detailed descriptions of how and where you were born since I've started. The only other good podcast that happened is I did a podcast with Lawrence. He's one of the, Lawrence, right?
I think so.
He called his mom on camera, like on the podcast, and asked her when he was born and what time, which was pretty funny. But other than that, you are the only person who has been so specific on everything. Wow.
Like I said, that's info I've had to retrieve multiple times, both from my friends. My girlfriend's really into astrology, so,
Okay.
I hide nothing.
All
Open
right.
book.
All right.
Kind of.
Kind of, yes. All right, so tell me a little about yourself. Let's start back in the day. Who are your parents? What do they do? And if you have siblings.
Absolutely. So my parents are actually both from Ukraine. They were born in what would have been considered the USSR. And despite the fact that they're both, from the same city, they didn't actually meet there because that would be too cute of a story, They met in San Francisco. My father and mother actually both came here when they were 19 at different times.
That's still cute.
That's adorable.
Parallel lives. You didn't even know it.
Exactly.
Yes.
And exactly 10 years apart, which I think is a nice round number.
What do you mean 10 years apart?
Like my father's 10 years older.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
So mother came here in 89. Okay. Father came here in 79.
Okay.
They met in San Francisco.
Oh.
And yeah, they're both just, hardworking, educated people. My dad's a journeyman tradesman. He does HVAC. A journeyman tradesman. So it's pretty much like, somebody that knows a trade or a combination of trades that journeys around, sells his knowledge.
Okay.
He stayed put in San Francisco. He doesn't travel the country, but that's just what it's called.
Okay.
And my mother works in finance, in project management.
Okay.
So I kind of leaned more her route with my education.
Okay.
But it was actually my father that encouraged me a little bit more acutely to check out accounting and finance.
Okay.
Which is what I ended up studying.
Right.
So yeah, awesome parents, awesome upbringing.
Okay.
We're still close and in touch, even though I live in Philly and they're back in California.
Right.
And yeah, so I grew up speaking Russian at home.
You sure you want to admit that? in these hard times?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I have nothing to hide. Like I said, it's actually my first language, but
Well, I mean,
English is my primary language.
I think it's great to be bilingual.
Absolutely. Makes me look exotic.
It makes you look, oh, good God. All right. Well, I mean, so you just speak Russian, right?
I speak fluently. I read at the pace of maybe like a Russian 8th grader, and then
Okay.
I write at the pace of a Russian 1st grader.
Okay. So, I gotta ask, was there collusion? You heard it here. You heard it here.
Actually, as far as that goes, I have not been as in touch with that whole thing. Surprisingly, most Russian immigrants
Yeah.
or Russian Americans that are interested in politics, they don't feel nor act like they have any sort of stake in that whole collusion thing. That's
Well, I'm
something
joking. I know you
Yeah.
don't. No one.
No, I know, but it's
yeah.
an interesting point. And it's
Yeah.
mainly Republicans I see kind of,
Yeah.
kind of touching on that note that are interested in politics. But
Not a Republican. Just saying.
I'm keeping my political affiliations totally neutral for this. I don't belong to any party. Just want everybody to be happy.
You just
Libertarian.
That's that is not a good way to be a libertarian. Were you old enough to vote a couple years ago?
I was.
Did you?
I did not.
Why?
I felt like I didn't understand each party's platform enough to make a decision.
So you voted for Trump, essentially. He's gonna kill me after this podcast. So it's okay. It's okay. Let's get back to the family history. You guys are Ukrainian, and what was it like growing up? You were born in
San Francisco.
yeah. So what was that upbringing like?
Yeah, it's probably the reason that I have a kind of a general taste for living in nice kind of modern urban cities.
Yes.
I was born in San Francisco.
Okay.
Went to mostly grade school and high school in Los Angeles.
Oh, really?
LA County. Yeah.
I thought San Francisco was like far away.
It is, yeah. It's 350 miles to the north.
So how? Did
Well,
you go
my
to
mom
LA?
moved.
Huh?
My mother moved.
Oh, your mom moved
Yes.
to Los Angeles,
Yes.
and you moved with her.
Yes, I did.
Why?
I don't know if that's something I really want to.
Okay.
I don't know if can we cut out the part with like
I mean, you
the
can.
parental divorce and whatnot.
I mean, your parents got divorced, right?
Yeah.
That's as far as it needs to go.
True.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell me other things afterwards if you like, but your parents got divorced, right?
Yeah.
The end. That's the end of that.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Good for you?
Good
All
for
right,
me, yeah.
Sweet. So you moved with your mom because of the divorce.
Yeah.
Shit happens. So then what happened?
You grew up.
Okay?
Now I'm here.
Yeah, that can't be all. That can't be it, bullshit. It cannot be it. So then what happened? So how old were you when you moved?
I was about 5 or 6 when we moved to a city called Tiburon
Okay?
in the Bay Area.
Okay?
And when I was about 6.5, close to 7, we actually moved down to Los Angeles County
Okay.
proper. And
Now-
we lived in the same house with my mom since.
Okay. Now I want to know, like, this has nothing to do with your parents, but I do want to know, did you feel like when you knew that, like, they had separated and you moved away with your mom, did you feel anything? Were you upset that you remember? Do you
I was
like
too
it-
young to really understand it.
Okay. All right. Just curious.
Yeah.
But if you were older, you think it would have affected you more?
I mean, I'm very blessed in the fact that both parents had equal stake in my upbringing. I'm
Okay.
equally close with both. So that's why I'm a little touchy on the divorce subject. Not because I find that there's anything wrong with it, but oftentimes when people talk about a parental divorce, they tend to allocate more credit to either mom or dad. And in
Okay.
my case, it's just not fair or true to say that one of them did more, even though I did live with my mom.
Okay.
You know?
You just saw her more. That's
Yeah,
all.
I saw my mom more.
I mean, and I think what we also have to understand, I feel like maybe not to use, just because like people's parents are divorced has nothing to do with you. And
Yeah.
that like I'm learning in life that like sometimes people just don't get along for whatever reason.
Happens
they
all
were
the time.
madly in love, they fell out of love, which is sad, but you never know why.
Yeah,
And That's just how it is. I've known friends who have told me their parents stayed together just because they thought it was good for the kids. Even though the kids were like, well, Christ, can't y'all just separate already? So, if
definitely,
just because you live with your mom, if you feel like your parents, like your raised upbringing was the same, that's your perspective. And that's actually good.
Yeah, no, it definitely, it's interesting having that non-nuclear family upbringing.
Right.
Combined with the fact that both my parents were to some extent Russian cultured.
Okay.
May have
What's
been
that mean? Does that mean divorce is not good?
Divorce is never good.
I mean, yeah.
Excuse me, but it's more just like, it doesn't even have anything to do with that. It's more just like, you are, it's almost, it's hard to explain. It's like, I think it made it a big part of the reason why I was maybe like a little nerdier, more shy as a kid. Because I didn't necessarily feel like a normal American child,
Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, we speak
about that more. What does that mean? Why did you not feel like an American child?
Different values. Russian parents are more strict. You speak the language at home.
Okay.
You eat the food at home.
Okay.
Even something simple like, and I'm not saying this is bad at all.
Right.
So even something as simple as like what a normal American like Thursday or Friday night dinner is with like son, daughter, mother, father, and like a little dog. That whole thing. There's like a casserole or like spaghetti and like or like a pot roast or like.
What did you watch growing up?
Probably a lot of bullshit media.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
What? If you had one of those dogs and casserole Friday nights, you're on a whole nother level.
That is a whole nother level of vanilla. No, I know. But I'm just using that as like a base example,
Okay.
Just like the little cultural bits were different. Russian children, any children of European immigrants still dress a little differently at school, a little bit more name brand kind of against their will, Like for most of my like younger years, I couldn't just wear like a shitty little like Hulk t-shirt from Walmart,
Right.
That's just not how Russian moms dress their kids for school.
How did you dress? How did you dress? How did she dress you?
We had like Armani, Calvin Klein, like Aeropostale, like a lot of.
Oh, so you dressed like a little adult.
Exactly. You're dressed like a little adult. You're expected to act like a little adult. You're expected to have concepts of like, career values from a young age. And again, none of this is bad. It's just different.
Well, I mean, just to point out, so like growing up, when I was dressed growing up, I didn't have Armani and stuff like that. But my mom made sure I looked good every day.
Right.
I looked like a little adult every day. Because she felt like, I'm sure your mom feels the same way, your children are a representation of you. So you can't go out the house looking some kind of way.
Exactly.
So even though we didn't have that, I get what you mean. My mom made sure I matched and I dressed to the nines every day. Then when I got older, I looked like a hobo, but
Yeah, as I got older, I started kind of letting my inner bum come out more.
Yeah, me too. Do you think it has something to do with that? Like, we dress like, not anymore. Like, I'm finally, thanks to my mom, getting my shit together. But do you think we dress like bums because we're rebelling in a way against how we were supposed to dress growing up?
Yes, and you made a very interesting point that, like, oftentimes parents will see the child as an extension of themselves.
Yes.
And I think that's a massive aspect of European upbringing because, you've traveled to Europe or anything, which country?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I've never been out the U.S.
Okay.
I've only traveled inside of the U.S.
I haven't traveled to Europe much. The one time I did, I was 14. I went to Italy for a few weeks.
How was that?
Fantastic. One of the first things I noticed is that even, like the scruffy looking old man that's, going down the street to get like, cigarettes and coffee or some groceries.
Right.
His outfit's coordinated. It might not be like all name brand.
But
it's coordinated. You could tell that he's
the coolest looking bum, quote unquote.
Yeah, not even bum, but just, like even their scruffy people, they look like business casual put together. Nobody there wears shorts. You could really, they just don't. You wear nice khakis or jeans with like, maybe like a light striped shirt or something in the summer, kind of like a gondolier. Yeah, you could. There's just a different standard.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a totally different standard of presenting oneself,
Right.
which is not as classist as it is in America.
Right. I mean, I'm definitely learning because you don't, even though it kind of sucks, you don't get as many job op. People aren't as friendly if you don't dress a certain way.
Correct.
Because even though we're supposed to judge what's on the in and not the out, it's what happens. And I notice now that thanks to my mom, I start dressing not like a homeless person. People treat me differently.
When you put together, yeah.
When you look put together, people want to have something to do with you.
Absolutely.
Because, like, why should anyone care about you if you don't care about yourself?
Big time.
And
yeah.
We probably share that common bond. I mean, I'm sure African American households and like maybe Russian or certain European country households are the same in that aspect.
I think so.
So
yeah.
So you, as you were saying, you were kind of traditional. So like you're talking about on a Friday night, you Americans have casseroles. I don't know what Americans you know.
I never knew what a casserole was. I thought a casserole was something that American families just ate. It's like a baked dish.
I don't like casserole.
I probably tried my first one like a couple of days ago at my friend's.
You serious?
At my friend's house. Shout out to Sam.
My mom's made a few casseroles, but like it's not her thing, and I don't really like casseroles, to be honest. I think they're kind of gross. But what kind of casserole did you have?
It was delicious. It was white rice,
okay,
shredded chicken,
okay,
broccoli, cheese, and some spices. I had it with a couple of craft beers. Took the best damn nap of my life.
You had the itis.
The itis.
Yes,
I had the itis. Yes, ma'am.
I love the itis.
I love it.
So it's so terrible. After a meal, I'll just slump over and like go to sleep. It's so bad.
In the past 4 days, I probably had 5 food comas. Yeah.
I love
5 diagnoses of itis.
Yes. So like, what kind of meal would you have on a Friday night? What's like a traditional American Ukrainian? So like, you're saying what's traditional Ukrainian Friday night food? Like, what's your American tradition?
So here's what's interesting. You have to remember that as I grew older as a child here,
yes,
so did my parents.
Oh.
So they eventually became, like, for example, like my father speaks with a Russian accent. Russian's his first language.
Right.
He's the most American, hardworking, just red-blooded American you'll ever meet, you know?
Other than his accent.
Other than his accent, which I think is a very charming way to speak. You know, he's a little self-conscious about it. I still think.
Does he speak like Gru from Despicable Me?
It's not like it's.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, I know what you're talking
about.
Love
that movie.
Yeah, no, it's not like he's hard to understand to any capacity. It's just the pronunciation of certain syllables. And by the way, I'm for whatever reason totally unable to mimic a Russian accent.
I was about to ask you, do it.
Listen, you could have a briefcase with $1 billion in cash right here, and I would not be able to do it for that amount of money. It just doesn't come out. I can't.
So even if you're with your family, you can't do it? Like if you all speak in Russian together?
Well, yeah, like we speak Russian to each other, but I couldn't imitate a Russian accent in English.
Gotcha.
Probably because it's native to me.
That makes sense. Okay, so say something in Russian.
What do you want me to say?
Just like a sentence. Tell me how beautiful you think I am in Russian.
Я считаю, что ты очень красива.
He probably said that ugly bitch over there.
No, I didn't.
And
no. I'm not deceptive.
And I would never know. It's okay, I got you.
Well, that's just because you asked me about collusion, so I had to roast you. No, I'm kidding.
That's true. So, it kind of reminds me, you ever watch The Proud Family? The Proud Family?
That sounds familiar.
It's with they were a cartoon, they're African-American family.
Yes. Okay, now I remember it, yeah.
And do you remember Poppy? He was the old guy with green hair. Sugar Mama was always in love with him, and he would talk mad shit.
Is that the character with like the funky sunglasses and
yes,
like big?
Yes.
Yeah, that's him.
Like he would.
Yeah.
Sugar Mama always thought he was saying like the most beautiful things to her, when in actuality he was calling her an ugly hag in like Spanish. It was really funny.
I need to rewatch that show.
It's a good show. So, do you have any siblings? Proud Family was a great show.
I do have a younger sister named Lola.
Lola.
Yeah.
Aw. You've shown me a picture of Lola before. Lola is very pretty.
She's a beautiful young girl. She's very smart. She just turned 13
We talked
this
about
past fall. Yeah.
about your
She's
concerns.
going into high school.
We've talked about your concerns with her.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, you have a younger sibling going into high school.
Right.
And, you know, I'm 10 years her senior.
Right.
I know the stupid shit I've done. I know what stupid shit I was smart enough not to do. So I only hope that she, like, at least adheres to the same kind of, like, you know, like personal standards I did, which I'm sure she would.
I'm more concerned about other people because we have talked like she's a pretty girl. And
She's
people
pretty.
People are creeps.
People are creeps, yeah.
And I would,
You know, my mother said, you know, she told me when we were on the phone recently, like, you know, she seemed kind of flustered. You know, she said she went with my sister to the mall.
Right.
Like, you know, like a woman should be able to do with her goddamn daughter in America. And, you know, some creep was following them around and did not leave until security intervened.
And did he give a reasoning for why he was following you guys? Or those two? That's disgusting.
It's fucking disgusting. And I would have, you know, I don't want to get into what I would have done to him if I was there. I'm not particularly big or strong, but I can fire myself up like no other. So
I mean, I think we can fairly say that we're like, anytime you harm a child or your intentions aren't good.
And, you know, I don't mean to be, like, sexist in my concerns.
Right.
But if this was a little brother 10 years younger, I would feel, like, a little less worried about what day-to-day interactions he might have with people, how predatory types might view him.
Because...
Yeah.
We're not going to get into it too much, but like when it comes to sexual assault and everything, there's so many arguments about if a man or a boy can be assaulted. It's kind of built up, I feel, in us that it's not possible.
Yeah, no, I don't even want to, you know, touch on subjects like that necessarily right now.
Right, but we agree.
You're right, yeah.
I mean, I think it's totally stupid. Like a child, boy or girl, man or female, can be assaulted.
Yeah.
That happens.
A child is something sacred.
Exactly.
Period. You know?
And if you mess with their innocence, that's when we have a problem.
Yeah.
Ugh, hate it. So, what was it like growing up, other than being like a Russian immigrant, Ukrainian...
First generation
immigrant here? You said your parents were strict. In what way?
So, my parents are strict in different kinds of ways. My father more so morally, you know?
Okay.
He would call me out more on, I guess, improper career choices or like choices concerning what he considers, you know, not just masculinity, but being a productive member of society.
Understood.
You know?
Right.
He gave me, you know, I have friends that are, friends and acquaintances that are a little kind of burnout bums in their lifestyle, you know, like they'll smoke weed and play video games 15, 16 hours a day.
Too much.
I wouldn't, well, neither mom nor dad would allow me to do that.
Right.
So growing up, my father would be, you know, he wouldn't really rag on me for any way I dressed.
Right.
Or, you know, like any of my personal habits.
Right.
But more so he would remind me to be like, listen, you know, you got to get an education. He's the first person that introduced him to the fact that life is competitive.
Right.
You know?
Right.
He's like, you know, going to school and getting good grades and maintaining yourself is the base fundamental minimum.
Okay.
That's what he introduced me to.
Okay.
So he's strict in his principles.
Okay.
But he, you know, neither one of my parents has like a heavy hand or anything. My mother's a little bit more strict and, you know, I can't just really smoke and drink freely around the house.
Okay.
She's a lot stricter with like, I guess you could call it domestic logistics.
Okay.
So when I'm at my dad's house, the laundry hamper is wherever the biggest pile will accumulate, you know, usually the tub. That's how we do it.
Right.
Doesn't work like that at mom's house.
Right.
If I'm washing my hands after dinner, I don't go to the kitchen sink. I go to the restroom to wash the hands.
Interesting.
Right?
That's a little interesting.
It's interesting.
I mean,
but I get it now. You know, you need to maintain standards and...
Right.
You know,
it's more about order and not about the actual act.
Exactly. And growing up, you know, it's in a funny way, it's kind of like how the military works. Like, you don't need to know how to clean your bunkhouse with a toothbrush for any battlefield applications.
Right.
But if you as a unit are disciplined enough to, scrub the floor with toothbrushes at the sergeant's command, it's a system with good order to it.
I mean, no, you had to make sure, like, my mom was in the army, and she's like, your shoes had to be shined. She said one of her army buddies got sent to jail because the button was misplaced. Yes.
I didn't know your mom was in the army. You said she's a nurse.
Yeah, like, she's got her training as an army nurse.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but, like, she said stuff like that. She said, I forgot who it was. She tells me a lot of stories. So I forgot their name. But I think she said, like, they got sent away or reprimanded heavily for having a misplaced button.
Really?
Or not having a button at all. One or the other.
That's strict.
Yes.
That's strict. No, and it was never like that. I never felt like I had overbearing helicopter parents.
No, it's okay. I took them off on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hot.
I feel that, yeah. I might take this off, too.
Yeah, you should. I mean, for you guys that don't know, can't see, it's hot, so I just took my shoes off.
But yeah, so I guess in that aspect, they were strict in the best possible way. I just got lucky,
And did you see it as what it was when you were younger?
Of course
so,
not.
like, yeah, of course. Like, we're all ungrateful little shits back then. I remember I said a sentence grammatically incorrect growing up. My mom corrected me. And I thought I was being cool. And I said, well, it's said this, I'm going to say it this way. She's like, oh, really? And when I got home, she made me write the grammatical sentence 100 times.
Do you remember it now?
Yeah, I remember it now. I wish my grandma could have came. And she said, it could have come. And I said, well, I'm going to say should have came. And she said, really? And now 100 times I had to write the proper way. So one thing I learned, grammar's important. And number two, listen to your mom.
Absolutely.
It's her way or the highway when you're younger.
100%.
And
yeah.
I cried for like an hour, and then I wrote it out, and then I realized the amount of time I took crying, I could have had it written. So it's another important lesson. Like, you waste time moping and complaining when you just could have done it.
Pretty much. Yeah, I was gonna ask which grammatical convention you had messed up.
I should have said come instead of came.
Yeah.
What is that, preposition? I don't even know.
Came? It's just the past tense verb.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't go to college. I've never been good at school. So, yeah. The point is, I know how to speak well.
Good, yeah.
I speak good.
That's something my mother...
I speak good, yeah.
She got an education.
She got an education? Yes.
But even today, my mom tells me I talk like a valley girl. I use a lot of likes and ums and fillers, which I do. So when I'm around her, I say it less because she's like, stop talking like that. Like, I can't. I'm from Southern California, Yeah.
I used to get mad because I would use like an upward inflection. Like today, I went out, and then I did this, and then I did that.
Oh, that's terrible.
And I started out, my mom's like, stop that. You're going to stop that right now.
Killing me, yeah.
Yeah, so I stopped it. So when I hear other people talk like that, I'm like, shut up. Just shut up.
Yeah.
Please. God, I hate it.
One thing that always gets to me is the whole, like, I did good. I used to not pay attention to that upwards through like halfway through high school, and I had an English teacher that just smacked that shit clean out of everybody in that class.
Exactly. I heard the other day, it's becoming more popular, and I hate it. Someone said I should have taken. I've been hearing should have taken so much that it hurts my soul. Nothing is ever should have taken. You don't should have taken nothing.
That's not how it works.
Taken. Jesus, okay.
They'll learn.
Oh, I got that out.
They'll learn.
Oh, I hate that.
But yeah, so as far as strictness, they both I was never allowed to be an average student.
I mean, I kind of was an average student because I just wasn't good at school, but I wasn't allowed to be an average person. It was yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, not yeah, not. So, yeah.
You see, it was never like that really for me, interestingly enough, but it's like... Any B on the report card was questioned. Any C was reprimanded. And I wasn't silly enough to dip below that threshold. Maybe like once in late high school, but I luckily made the smart choice to tell my parents ahead of time that I was having difficulties in a class.
There you go.
And they gave me, they pushed resources my way to help me.
Now, for me, like, the only time I was able to get a C was in math. Because I suck at math, and my mom is not good at math either.
Really?
So that's the only thing she gave me a pass at. But anything as far as memorization, grammar, things like that, an A or like a C did not fly. Like
Yeah.
a B was okay, but she preferred an A. But if she knew I was strong in a particular subject, I wasn't allowed to go below an A or B.
Same convention
Yeah.
here. She figured out that certain high level math was harder for me.
Yes.
But if I ever had like below an A in English or writing, which was my strongest suit, you know,
Right.
that I was grilled heavily for that. Which makes sense.
I got a B in music once, and my mom was so upset. She's like, "How do you get a B in music? What were you not doing?" I said, "What do you mean?" She's like, "That just doesn't make any sense. There's no way you don't play."
How did you get a B in music?
I don't know.
I'm curious too now.
She's like, "You don't play an instrument," because they were just teaching us like basic things. She's like, "I don't get it." So stuff like that I never got a pass on.
Yeah.
And now that I'm older, I get it.
It's just another cultural thing. I feel like the standard American family, however the viewers might or
Right.
you might define that.
Right.
I don't know. Like I've had friends like riding the school bus back with me with their like on report card day. It's like, yeah, I got some C's and B's. Like no big deal. If I had like a C, I'd be like, dude, like you know, shit. Like
Yes.
what do I do? Like
What do I
how do
say?
I spin this? You know.
Yes.
And some people, it's just you could just tell that's passing was the standard.
For their life. And
The
we're not
family.
dissing them. We're just saying that wasn't how it was for us.
Not dissing them at all. Yeah. And, you know, growing up, I realized that there's not as much correlation between grades and success as we might have been taught to believe. But there are some. Discipline.
That's what it is.
Yes.
And I know I was failing science, and they called my mom. And I didn't know that they had called her. I get home. She's like, "Why are you failing science? You're taking, like, the easiest science." Because the way
she knows. She's a nerd, yeah.
So, like, I just sat, and I sunk. I'm like, oh. It was and then I got grounded. Well, not grounded. I wasn't allowed to do extracurricular activities until my grades were brought up. Which I thought was unfair. But now that I'm older, I get it. So moving along, like, what did you do? So you graduate high school.
Yeah.
Where did you go to college? What did you major in? What do you think some of your struggles were in college and to now?
So, great line of questioning. I went to Drexel University.
Okay. Cool. Drexel's a nice campus.
Nice campus, no school spirit, great curriculum, great connections.
You said no school spirit?
0.
Yeah, there isn't any.
Yeah.
Like, is your only campus up near 30th Street?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, 34th and Market. That's like
the whole campus.
The center intersection of the campus. Well, no, that's not the whole campus. It's like...
Where's the primary part?
The primary part of Drexel campus lies between 30th Street.
Okay.
And 35th Street, right?
So 5 streets.
5 streets, and then north of Chestnut Street and north.
Okay.
And then below, like, where the Mantua area is.
So it's bigger than I thought.
It's bigger than you thought because there's 2 parts of Drexel campus. There's the blocks and clusters of classrooms.
Right. I'm talking about campus, like, dorms.
There's a block of dorms up by, like, Race Arch, Spring Garden Street.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's far.
When you're on campus, it's like a 5 to 10 minute walk from like the main building.
Which Spring Garden are we talking? Like,
well, Spring Garden cuts all the way, as you know, through the whole city.
Front Street, or if you're taking the Broad Street line, because there are 2 Spring Gardens.
I don't know the subway around here at all. Like, I'm so bad. Katie laughs at me. That's my girlfriend. She laughs at me like all the time for it. She has to like handle my like ticketing there. I'm just not used to it. Yeah.
She has to handle your ticketing.
Yeah.
That's sad.
It's sad.
That is sad.
I need to get my shit together.
You really do. I'll help you on that too, but like, what do you take mainly?
I live in the Powhatan Village area still, which is it's affordable but close to downtown. It's only a 30-minute walk from my apartment to City Hall.
Why don't you take a train or something?
Why would I? 30 minutes, it allows me to clear my head, listen to music, get like some measure of cardio in.
Fine, whatever. You make a good point.
Right? People are always like, why do you walk? Like, why do you waste an hour? I was like, well, when you think about like what that walk actually does for you, and if you're taking phone calls and stuff on it, it's about as efficient as you could be with your time.
Shut up. You're right, no. No, I hate it when people make good points. Okay. So you went to Drexel.
Drexel.
Yeah, school spirit. I've never heard about anything with Drexel as far as school morale and all. But I've heard good things about your education, like you said.
Education is fantastic. So I was an accounting and finance major.
Okay. Ew. Math.
Yeah, I mean, it took me a while to like accounting.
Right.
And then it took me some time to dislike finance.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Nope.
So I started out as an accounting major.
Okay.
And about a year in, I was like, I want to study finance. I want to be like a Wolf of Wall Street type or something.
Good God.
Right? Yeah.
Of course. Snorting cocaine and everything, like in the movie. All of it.
Blow, boobies, boats,
You want the whole...
everything, yeah.
You just want to die a miserable death.
Yeah, no.
Later.
No,
Gotcha.
I don't do cocaine, but boats and boobies, not the worst thing in the world.
Boats? Yeah, I like boobs. Go on.
Yeah, it's a good combination,
It's nice.
A good alliteration.
Exactly.
What else? Yeah.
I mean, I like boats more than boobs, but yeah.
I was on a boat this past week.
You didn't tell me that. And how'd you like it?
It was good.
It was good? Okay.
Just beers and fishing with the boys,
With you boys.
With the boys.
Fishing is scary.
And damn right it was on a Saturday, because that's the day for the boys. I know, I had to. I had to.
This is why I like you as a manager and a friend. Well, slightly arrogant, but the right amount of arrogant. Yeah, like...
Would it be arrogant to admit that I know?
I know. My mom always tells us you're not conceited, you're just confident. And I'm like, no, I'm arrogant.
I gotta shout out my mom real quick here. Let me show you this.
Aw.
She sent me...
What's your mom's name?
Maria.
Shout out to Miss Maria. Or what's your last name?
Karmaliuk.
Karmaliuk?
Karmaliuk, yeah, which is my last name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mrs. Karmaliuk.
Yeah, her actual name is Masha, but it's like Maria in English.
Why not go by Masha?
You want to know something cute?
What?
My parents' names are Masha and Misha.
Oh.
Right? That's crazy.
That is cute.
No, let me send you this absolute.
That's so sad.
She doesn't take any prisoners. Look at this.
That's so sad. She didn't work out. Arrogant bastard.
So my mom sends me a picture from a grocery store that she was at of just a picture of a box of beer that says "Arrogant Bastard Ale," and the text underneath is, "Did you start making a beer?"
Damn!
So,
I'm gonna see if I can put the picture like right here in post, but that's pretty funny.
Absolutely, yeah. No, we'll definitely have to. Yeah, people got to see it to believe it.
Yeah,
you know.
I read I don't know if I have a picture. I went to the Hot Topic, and there was
Of course you did.
There was like a penis pop-up book where like you put your fingers inside the penis thing to be like a puppet, and you open it and you read.
Are you sure this wasn't at Spencer's?
Or it could have been at Spencer's.
That sounds like a Spencer's Gifts kind of product right there.
Why do you have this penis book?
I'm from Los Angeles. Everything is a Hot Topic. Spencer's or a PacSun or a vape shop.
Because it said because it's like a puppet. It's just like put your fingers in the penis. I'm like, what? So like my friends and I were giggling the entire time. You're right, it was Spencer's. It had to be.
You were how old?
This was in college.
You were giggling at actually I would too. Yeah, I can't. I have no room to talk.
Oh, because I was giggling. Okay, look, I don't. It's not like my lifestyle doing all of those sexual things. So yes, I still giggle. It's not something I'm into much. It's exhausting. It's an exhausting act. Moving on,
yeah.
Yeah.
I won't be unpacking this.
But you agree.
On this appearance.
Yes.
No, of course it's funny. Do you know how many dicks I draw on the whiteboards in this building?
Good God. I saw something the other day, and I'm like, doesn't that look like a vagina? And my friend's like, what is wrong with you? And then she looked at it, and she's like, yeah, kind of.
Is it a Georgia O'Keeffe painting?
No.
Oh. Well, now I'm curious. Send me the image file.
I will.
Yeah.
I can't because it was a cloud.
Send me a screenshot.
A screen. I didn't take a picture of a vagina-looking cloud formation.
Then what were you doing?
Staring at the cloud. Okay, you walk to work an hour a day, to and from, right? Why can't I look at
Total.
Total. So why can't I look at the sky and see a vagina?
You don't know where I'm walking.
That's true. I don't. Wow. Okay, so how was Drexel? Did you live on campus? You had to, from San Francisco.
I did, yeah. So Drexel had this reputation. I don't know if it still is as publicized, but one of the first things you hear about Drexel,
right,
when you're like matriculating, or going on a tour,
right,
or you're checking out, you always keep hearing like, oh, it's a commuter school. Yeah, there's a lot of commuters, but there's still dorms. There's Greek houses, you know. There's like kind of like paid student apartments, which were interesting because it was like 98% students that lived in them, but you didn't have to be a student. I'm telling you, somebody's grandma was living in one of these dorms. I straight up saw this 7-year-old woman every day. 70-year-old woman. She lived in this. I don't know if she was sent there to like keep track of an unruly granddaughter or what the hell.
Yes.
But I felt bad for her and for whoever she was living with, because I know that there was no way she was getting along.
Right. Poor grandma.
Poor granddaughter. Who knows?
I know I lived on campus with an apartment, and there's like a whole family of children above me.
Penn State, right?
Yeah, because I lived on campus. So technically anybody could live there.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why are there children? Like, this is, because it was for college kids. Like, even though it wasn't specialized for college kids, it was. It had like a fire pit and all this stuff. So I'm just sitting there, because, people got drunk, beer bottles, and I'm like, why are your kids here? Like, this is not a place for your children.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that's one thing that I didn't notice about Drexel campus.
Right.
Till I graduated, was for the exception of like the off visitation day.
Right.
You could go months without actually seeing a child.
That's good.
Yeah, it's fucking great. I'm not complaining. Yeah.
Right. I mean, kids are amazing. I love kids, but I still don't want to
see them. Yeah.
Right. Especially, I gotta show you this video later on. I saw there's like these kids. They were kindergartners, and they had to sing the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star for I guess a talent show. There's 3 kids. Then the one boy just like stands in front and takes over and starts singing one of the Star Wars songs. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah, I hope that's like how my future son acts.
He pushes the kids aside and just starts singing that song. Had everyone in the audience cracking up. It wasn't about Twinkle Twinkle anymore. It was legit about him singing the Star Wars song. I was dying.
He was pushing kids out of the way.
It was only 3 of them, so he literally just got in front of them and started doing that song.
It's like episode 3 when Anakin goes in and kills all the younglings, and
and the poor kids are still sitting there trying to sing Twinkle Twinkle, and he gets like a dun dun dun. I'm like, I hope that is my child. That is beautiful.
You saw Sith Lord in action.
I did.
You did, yeah.
I hope he never loses that confidence. That was amazing.
That takes balls of steel. Sometimes I don't even like spending too much time at the cash register when I'm buying something at CVS. I feel like the center of attention, you know?
Exactly. And he just owned his life.
That's how you do it.
Baby boy. But, so how was your Drexel experience, since there's not a lot of morale and experience?
The lack of morale, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a non-factor, so we didn't really have like, you look at something like Mizzou, where people, Missouri University, or University of Missouri,
or Penn State.
Or Penn State. People paint their faces,
arrogant bastards.
Arrogant bastards.
Yes, we are.
Just like the beer. But,
as you said, yeah, it's true. I'm like, you see that?
You don't see that at Drexel. I mean, people, listen, you always need a group of students from the school that love the school, which is great. Right. And we have that. We have kids that give tours, people that volunteer to be RAs, mentors, lead clubs. That's great. I support it. And I think, but this is just my opinion.
Right.
That's really all you need. You don't need these big pep rallies that blow money, blah blah blah. And I think this all traces back to the fact that we're not a football school.
Right. You know, Penn State spent $2 million on these lion heads on the stadium that lit up.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, but I'm not surprised.
I was so...
Lion heads that lit up?
Yeah, like on the stadium.
What else did they do?
I don't know. I don't know everything. I just know that one summer I was there, they made this whole $2 million. You gotta be kidding me! It looks cool, but are you kidding me? So yeah.
Yeah, 38 more. You could have paid off a graduating class's loans.
Exactly. Penn State doesn't think like that. A lot of Big Ten and football schools don't think like that. Not bashing Penn State. I'm just saying it's a fact that Big Ten schools and football schools, they care about.
They think differently. I mean, you ever hear those controversies with expenditures in Texan high schools, Texan football high schools? They'll use computers from 1998, but drop 10 mil on a field, and it's like on local TV circuits, like.
Or they'll you hear a lot of Texas A&M. Remember hearing that thing about garnishing the kids' grades?
Well, I'm talking about Texas high schools.
Oh, high schools.
You should read up on that. Texas high schools have a big track record of letting everything else fall into disrepair in favor of a strong football program, which athletics is good, but
of course.
I don't prioritize it the same way as other people, so I'll always be a critic of that.
I mean, I love football. I love sports, but sometimes, education's a little more important. But then I know that's also, I think, how they make some of their money. Tickets and everything, I know it trickles down to the other sports, but something's gotta give.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta cut corners somewhere, especially with how little is allocated to education in general.
Speaking of education, really quick, what do you think of the guy from Morehouse paying off those kids' tuition?
I'm glad you asked. Glad you asked. I think the internet and Reddit in particular, I'm a big fan of Reddit. Yeah. I'm a Redditor. I get most of my news and information from there.
Really? You gotta teach me. I don't understand.
We gotta get you on the wave, but Reddit.
I don't get Reddit. I have an account, but I don't understand it. I don't understand upvotes. I don't get it.
It's just it's basic. It's basic. It's like a crowdsourced visibility control uploads. Same with comments and likes on Instagram. Same with shares on Facebook. All that stuff.
Well, as my manager, you can take over my Reddit if you think you can make it in this
I'd love to help you out with that.
Because I don't get it.
But as far as the Morehouse thing, I think Robert Johnson is his name, correct?
Yes. He's a doctor, isn't he?
He is.
I don't know. I don't think he's a medical doctor.
No, he has a PhD. I mean, he's an investor.
Here, I'm gonna look it up as we speak.
Yeah, look it up while I tear into Reddit.
Yes.
I think Reddit has been, as a community, as a site, as everything, just the meanest little bitch.
Reddit is a mean bitch?
The meanest little bitch about that whole thing. So Reddit loves to hate monger, even though it's a very liberal kind of pro.
Very true.
Yeah, it's a very minority friendly, LGBT friendly, immigrant poverty, any minority that's marginalized in any aspect. Reddit's a big champion of them. But Reddit also loves to hate successful people, which is weird because certain celebrities with hundreds of millions of dollars to their name, like Keanu Reeves or Bill Murray, they're just treated like gods on the website.
Robert F. Smith.
Robert F. Smith. I'm sorry, not Robert Johnson. See, I knew I screwed.
He's a billionaire.
Yes. Wealthier than Oprah. But anyway, the
wealthier. I think Oprah is.
No, he surpassed her.
Oprah, Richard.
He's the wealthiest African American.
As long as they're all black. Hey, black excellence.
Hey, no, it's absolutely. It's good to have. Yeah, it's good to have figureheads for any group. But the point is that Reddit has been an absolute mean little bitch because so they're nice to celebrities that don't do anything except not be assholes, right? Reddit just loves Keanu Reeves. They love Bill Murray. They're good guys. Nothing wrong with them. They love Jimmy Kimmel. Steve Colbert. Any pundits that like to criticize.
Right.
Big fans. Now this billionaire pays off the loans for a class, does an objectively great thing for society.
Right.
And everybody on Reddit takes it as a call to arms against the rich. Now they're saying,
How
well,
is
you
it
know, now
against-
everybody should do that. You know, everybody should, like, have to give money back.
I mean, what he does with his money is his business.
It's his own goddamn business. And people are
Exactly.
taking it as a call to arms. I've seen comments and posts that are like, well, why didn't he do it? Why didn't he give that money to, like, an even more marginalized group, like, you know, straight up homeless people or addicts? He doesn't have to. It's his fucking billions, you know. He can do whatever he
Exactly.
wants with it.
And also, like, oh God, I can't. That's something we'll have to talk about. Like, I have nothing against homeless people. Nothing. Because I know there are great people in this world who are just down and out on their luck.
Shit happens.
But then at the same time, there are a couple home. I remember I was in Suburban Station. Suburban Station is one of the transportation centers here in Philadelphia. This guy every day would howl me. You got $5? I'm so hungry. You got $5? And finally one day, I said, "You're hungry? What do you want?" Because there are a lot of restaurants in Suburban
food,
Station.
yeah.
A lot of food. I'm like, anything you want in this place, I'll buy it for
A
you.
lot of food.
Yeah, I'm like, "What do you want, sir? I'll get it for you." Because I'm just not going to give this guy money. He's like, "Never mind," and walks away. And I'm like, exactly.
Heard a billion of these stories.
Exactly.
And
And they're making panhandling illegal in the city.
Really?
That's what they've been saying. I don't know if it's... I think you're supposed to report it to the police.
I'm just not that kind of petty to report somebody panhandling. You know, if I have... you know, I'll give a homeless man, if he's not being like a creep or aggressive, I'll happily give him like a cigarette or some chips, whatever little
You
provision.
smoke?
Yeah, I smoke. That's why my voice is like this.
You smoke cigarettes?
Occasionally, yeah.
Occasionally. Ooh.
I get stressed. I get stressed.
Comments on the bash him for smoking cigs. It's not
Yeah.
good.
Well, I'm not habitual anymore. I used to smoke close to like a pack a day for a couple of years, and then I just
Damn.
got
How old are you?
23.
That's way too young to be smoking.
Well, not anymore. I'm also a young quitter.
Okay, anyways.
Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah. So like Reddit and Robert F. Smith. So he
He was celebrated, and his deed was touted for all of a day, and then immediately there was tons of posts that, like, you know, all billionaires should donate money. Like he's setting an example, or he should be made an example of, or he could have donated more, or
What he paid he paid 400 kids tuition. That's incredible. Like, what are we bitching about?
hate-mongering website. Listen, I love Reddit. I'm a Redditor. I use it for my information, but the
Right.
culture of just hating, like, you know, I understand why certain wealthy politicians, businessmen, celebrities are
That was good
hated.
beer.
This beer here is excellent. That's why I'm cussing so much. But
Please, I like to shout it out. My podcast, rated E. so explicit. Go on.
explicit. But yeah, it's just like the website loves to turn into a little bitch at the drop of a hat, and it could be for anything, you know. It's like, okay, let me say something controversial here,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
I think you should. Anything you want. I'm game.
I think Demi Lovato being coddled and publicized for overdosing was the silliest shit ever. She's a celebrity with all the resources and money she has to treat herself and not be a fuck up with drugs, right?
Just because you're a celebrity, you're still a human.
No, she's still a human, absolutely.
We don't know what happened in her life to make, but I agree with you.
We don't know, but the majority of people that I know that overdose or get too drunk or die,
Yeah.
you know, or
they
hear
don't
of
have
them,
the money that she has
They don't have the
to
money.
get well.
and they don't have a campaign of people like wishing her the best. So I don't understand why this woman who never did anything that charitable before in her life was basically being like pedestalized by Reddit, and then an African American businessman who pretty much came from zero gives back to his community, African American students,
Right.
Male students. It was a male graduating class, right?
I think there were a few women sprinkled in between, but I know Morehouse is a male school. But I thought I saw some women in there in the video.
I did too, yeah. So I'm not sure about that, but regardless, the point is that you could.
I'm gonna look this up as we're discussing.
You could make an idiot of yourself on a national scale,
Right.
or you could do one of the greatest acts of good, in the year,
Right.
and it doesn't matter. It just matters how the internet spins it.
Right.
It matters which voices cast what shadow over the act,
Right.
and it just goes from there.
Right.
So that's my point on it. I think Smith is a great man. I hope to be in a position one day where I could also donate, fat stacks to a group I believe in or a cause that I find worthy.
Right.
And I would hate if people took that as, a call to arms, or it accused me of negligence towards some other group, pretty much.
Well, according to this, from Wikipedia, because we know they, are always on facts. Morehouse is a private, historically black men's college. The college is one of the few remaining traditionally men's liberal arts college in the U.S. It was founded in 1867. But I saw a few women sprinkled in there.
That's a small graduating class, too.
Right. What, you want me to go back up?
Not even graduating, just enrollments. Just over a couple thousand.
Yeah.
Is it selective, do you know?
I mean, it's private, so I would assume.
So is Drexel.
I know. Students, there were 2,132 students. It's in Atlanta.
It's a large endowment for the size.
I know.
I have to mention, yeah.
61 acres. It's not a whole lot.
Well, no, for the size of enrollment.
NCAA Division II. That's not bad. The Maroon Tiger. Never heard of it. Campus. I saw a few women in there, but according to Wikipedia, it's saying that it's still a male college, so I don't know. It's whatever.
Yeah.
So, you think it sucks. So, back to you. This whole podcast is supposed to be about you, but we've delved into many topics.
Yeah, well, I mean, that really is me. I hate just crybabying on the internet. Some issues deserve legitimate attention,
Right.
I thought the Me Too movement was a great mobilization against terrible things that are happening.
Although, remember those comments I got, those messages I got on Instagram?
Oh, yeah, they were dealt. Oh.
I'm just saying, not that one. If I respond, I could be on the negative end of the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
Not the survivors, but the one who's the doing of the
Yeah. Yeah. I'm her manager on social media, and we had a couple of idiots send in some less than savory comments. So I replied to them as one does, and I've never gotten a fatter fucking apology in my life.
We're just kids, and I'm then go back to being.
I was like, yeah, if
Where
you're old enough,
parents?
it's if you know that you just sent something stupid, and you're smart enough to understand that you're just being rude and creepy, then you're not a kid in my book. I'm gonna turn you into the authority for being an asshole.
But here's the thing. Do you think we were like that? We would have said something like that?
No. When I was 15 or 16, I would never send a sexually inappropriate message to some designer that I don't know, for instance,
I mean, because then you
or editor, or however they perceived you. I'm not just gonna find some social media personality and just be like, oh, let's send them some gross shit. It's
because then you're afraid your mom will find out somehow. You don't know how she's gonna find out, but you know that some way she's gonna find out.
I'll just say this: the eloquence of his apology, A, was impressive, and
Yes.
B, indicated that he's a little smarter than just a little kid. And honestly, he had one of those meme Spider-Man profile pictures. I don't know if he's 14 or 40, so
it could be anybody.
He'll be told to fuck off either way.
He's got nice.
Don't harass my clients.
He's got nice hair.
That man does have nice.
This guy just passed, and his hair was pretty awesome.
His hair was luxurious even.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what do you do now? Because we are way past. We're talking about everything under the sun.
Yes.
But what do you do now? What is your job? What do you do? Give yourself a shout out, a plug, so you can bring yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plug yourself. Plug yourself.
That's an underrated statement. Excuse me if you don't mind me, I'm gonna just plug myself real quick.
Yeah, plug yourself.
Thank you, Jazz. I really do appreciate that.
Yes.
So I've been out of school for a year. Like I said, I studied accounting and finance.
Right.
Worked a little bit in an accounting firm
Okay.
down in Philadelphia. Shout out to Heffler, Raditich, and Sayada. Fantastic company to work for.
Right.
Very good culture.
Right.
They did class action lawsuit accounting. So if you or a loved one have been I screwed it up. Diagnosed with mesothelioma, call the number on the screen. That they do accounting for those claimants of class action lawsuits. There's only 8 companies in the country that handle the accounting for a class action lawsuit.
Really?
And this was one of them, yeah.
Interesting.
Right, it's a very niche field of a niche field, which I find super cool. But
that's what you did for 1 year.
That's what I did for 1 year in school.
Okay.
So basically I graduated there, and while graduated in 2018.
Right.
Yeah. So finished my full-time studies last June.
Right.
Finished all my studies past September.
Right.
Didn't necessarily feel an overwhelming pressure to start working. So in other words, kind of burned out, got tired.
What would your father say? No, I'm kidding.
He knew that I had some money saved up, and he knew that I was kind of entrepreneurially minded.
Right.
So he basically told me, he's like, whether you're going to commit to a positional career,
yes,
or you're going to grind out gigs and be an entrepreneur,
yes,
you fucking commit, which
yes.
I'm starting to learn more now. So this past year, I've been growing a small business I started back in school.
Yes.
It's called Apex Resourcing LLC.
He does have a legit LLC. Check it out, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, it's nothing big, but we have a website and Instagram handle at Apex Resource.
It's big enough.
Big enough that it's starting to be meaningful to me. And we basically outsource academic research.
Right.
So it's not quite a paper mill, but it's not tutoring. What we do is we answer academic questions with cited sources.
Right.
And give people a more expedited way to actually throw together an essay rather than necessarily just doing it for them or just explaining. You kind of give them a template and the actual information.
Okay.
So as I was growing that, I started working at the workspace. I met Jazz. Shout out to WeWork. Great environment.
Don't shout them out yet. I don't get too many discounts from them. Wait until they give me a discount. Then
True. Yeah.
Shout them out. We rescind the shout out.
Shout out vetoed.
Yes.
But so for the past year, I've just kind of been growing that business. I started a small career as a social media manager in promoting Apex and growing it.
Yes.
I learned a lot about, the basics, you could say, at first, and now more intermediate stuff stuff concerning the Instagram ecosystem. So anything having to do with algorithms, hashtags, cross-influencing, that sort of thing. I basically made that into not even a side gig anymore, but something that I'm starting to take a lot more seriously. So those are my 2 grinds at the moment.
We also got to realize that for anybody that's out there starting out with their career with social media, you don't have to put a whole lot of money into multiple social media accounts as far as promotion.
My nose is itching.
It's okay.
Yeah.
If you get one good platform that you can promote, if you're interested enough and good enough, they will want to go to your other platforms.
Yes.
So find the ones that you like using the best and start there. And if you're good enough, people will want to know more.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Bobby. Over the weekend, we started really grinding out, and he started grinding out. And I think I've gotten close to almost 200-300 additional followers in the past weekend.
That number might be a little high, but we've definitely...
I said close.
Close, yeah.
Because I had 760 something, and now I'm close to 900. For a small creator, that's a lot. So he can
over
make
Memorial Day weekend, yeah. I mean, it's
especially more because that's an American holiday. Because I have a lot of followers in other countries as well.
Yeah.
Memorial Day is an American holiday.
Absolutely.
So the fact that I was able to get that kind of engagement over a holiday means a lot. So
thank you.
If you're out there and you want somebody to manage you, give Bobby all of his information will be in the description below. Also, shout out because like he says I'm demanding, which I think is a lie, but whatever, whatever.
Well, she knows what she wants,
I know what I want.
and that's
I
you
am
know
not
the best and
demanding.
worst customer we work with. Mostly best because it teaches you.
Well, what's the worst part of it?
The worst customer is the one that's like that just hits you up 4 times a day with like some BS and their content sucks and you can't do anything for them.
I don't
you
hit
know?
you up that much because I'm like everyone has a life,
Everybody, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the reasonable customers
right?
are
Now,
like Jazz. She knows what she wants and she expects a lot of me. Keeps me on my toes.
Right.
Keeps my game up.
Now, I mean, if you
Yeah.
were assigned to me personally and you had no other gig other than me, I might be a little bit of a bitch. But it's okay. But I know you have a life and you have other clients. But, like, just know it's coming down. Like, gonna yell at you. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, listen, guys, we're 1 week in to the social media campaign here, and I'm teaching Jazz. I mean, if you're going to be a social media manager, you have to be a teacher.
Exactly.
You can't do everything for your client. You have to teach them why you're doing certain things, why you're following and unfollowing certain accounts, why you're posting at certain times of day, why you're deleting certain content.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like, if you had to say, like, one thing I think you're good at it. Like, what I need done and think you're good. I guess it maybe has nothing to do with you. I just wish, like, there's certain things we've discussed. Like, well, why didn't he tell me? But, like, in your mind, you see the reasoning. But
Yeah.
because I'm so anxious, I'm like, well, why didn't he tell me? But,
Yeah.
like, it's also a relationship thing. So we'll learn. You'll learn. And you'll learn to keep me updated. And I'll learn to trust you more and to calm down and stop worrying.
Again, I support and respect the customer that knows what they want. Because at the end of the day, if you're doing social media and marketing stuff and you're trying to build a portfolio,
Yeah.
you want to actually have tangible results. Like, you know, if she started with me at 700 something followers and it's a month into our campaign, you know, I build for the month, I've, you know, investor money into influencing, and she gained 50 followers and I'm just a dumbass, you know?
I'm just like, I'd probably fire you, like, way before that.
Yeah,
I'd let you keep your money and chill. I said keep your money and choke on it. But, you know, yeah.
Which is reasonable.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a combination of knowing content and, you know, social media management uses a lot of other marketing skills like basic PR, you know, content creation, knowing when to outsource, when you need to.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but I think Bobby and I will be, we're going to become better friends and just like great people along the way. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
We're probably going to end it here because we covered a lot of stuff.
We covered a lot of stuff.
And we had a lot of fun. One, and two, it's really hot in here, and I really got to open the door to let some air in.
It is absolutely steam.
It is a
city in here.
I feel like I've lost 10 pounds from sweat. But
lucky you.
I'm surprised you kept the jacket on.
I just didn't want people to see how sweaty I am underneath.
Oh. Are you wearing long sleeves or short sleeves?
Short.
Thank God. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, how are you not dying? All right. So first and foremost, thank you guys so much for watching and listening on Apple and SoundCloud. If you can't watch, remember, if you can't watch, you have those two platforms and Spotify. If you can watch, it goes up every Monday between 3 and 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you want some help from Bobby, his information will be in the description below. If you want to meet us, we will be at VidCon this year on July 10th through the 13th. I'm not going to give out the information. You can just look it out amongst yourselves. But yeah, VidCon's a lot of fun, and I'm excited, and he's excited, and it'll be an interesting time. Don't catch us on a bad day.
I'm looking forward, and I want to personally thank Jazz for having me on her podcast, for shouting me out. She's a great content creator, great coworker, great friend. Definitely check out her content.
Yes.
Stay in touch with her.
Yes.
And you know what? She's done some work for my business too. She's a great, like I said, editor, graphic designer, has a taste for the visual and audio. So,
which is weird because, like, when it comes to things other than graphic design and, like, looking at things, I don't notice anything. It took me 6 months to realize there was a ceiling fan in my room. But when it comes to, like, art, looking at movies and stuff, I'm like, that doesn't fit, but that fits. So maybe I'm like a savant in some way. And on that, which I doubt. See again, arrogant. I think I'm a savant.
We need a bit.
Huh?
Where does arrogance and self-esteem match, you know?
We need our own podcast called like The Arrogant Bastard. Oh my god, that would be so cool if we have a podcast called The Arrogant Bastards. We're bastards.
Ooh.
Because I actually am a bastard, but you're not. Legit, I am a bastard. I never knew my father. But you know your father.
Well, I'm legit arrogant.
The arrogant bastard. You can say you're the bastard. You're arrogant. I'm like, and I'm the bastard. Yes. All right. On that note, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy it. This podcast will be out on Sunday on Apple and SoundCloud, and Monday on YouTube. With that being said, have a fantastic day. Stay blessed. And if you're going through something, if you don't have both parents in your lives like me, or your parents are divorced like Bobby, make the most of your situation.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything will turn out okay.
Never label yourself.
Just do you.
You do you.
And hope for the best.
Comparison is the thief. Comparison is the thief of joy. There we go.
Never compare yourself to other
No.
people, because there's always going to be someone better than you.
Yes.
And there's always going to be somebody who's not as good as you.
Compare yourself to who you were yesterday.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
build,
It's corny, but it works.
build yourself up to be better than the person you were.
100%.
Have a great day, guys. Goodbye.